first up, it's the #1 ranked team. It's Team Easton. Hello, Team Easton. Are you ready? Yeah, looks like they're ready there. Hello to all of you. And you are up against the Hotshots. Hotshots, are you ready? There they are, the Hotshots getting ready for the competition.
The lineup for the second semi looks like this. Chris Schaff will take on Sullivan, followed by Linda Ochoa Anderson versus Cole Zoig. And the third and final match will see Rio Wilde up against Ochnich. Those will be followed by the team match, Team Easton versus Hotshots. In the first end of match 1 in the second semi-final at the Indoor Archery World Series Finals, Chris Schaff of Team Easton made a solid start. But Hotshot Sullivan took the first end with the final arrow. There was very little to separate the archers in the middle part of the match, but Chris Schaff eventually gave his opponent an opportunity in the fourth end. But he came out fighting with his final arrow.
He has hit it. Now Sullivan is on 110. A regular top score of 10 will be enough to take the first match. And it looks like he has indeed clipped that 9-10 ring again and got another perfect 30. That final arrow was marked down from a 10 to a 9, which put the two teams level in match 1 on 119 points.
Linda Ochoa Anderson could only score 27 in the first end of match 2.
This is a big opportunity for Zoig to push open the lead in this second match. And every single one of those arrows has been just close to and clipping the 10 ring. And that, for me, is a perfect 30.
With little between the archers in the second end, things got interesting in the third.
Ochoa Anderson putting the finger up to indicate she's going for the 12. The first time in this match that either of the athletes have attempted it. And so Cole Zoig has no need to go for the 12, doesn't need to take the risk. And looks like he goes into the 9 there, so a 29 plays a 27.
After that, Hotshot's Cole Zoig never looked back and comfortably secured the bonus point in the fourth end.
Very relaxed, and that's the result.
Team Easton's Rio Wilde made a strong start to match 3. But youngster Ochnich responded in style.
Oh, she has indeed, and you can hear the reaction in Minnesota. She's stolen the very first end against the much more experienced Rio Wilde.
After another 12 in the second end, Ochnich was full of confidence and tried to repeat the trick for the third time in a row.
Just low this time, not far at all, but that will be a 7 at best.
As the match moved towards its conclusion, Ochnich was trailing by a point on her final arrow, so had to go for the 12 ring.
And she's hit it. She has hit it. And at the moment, Rio Wilde is on 107. There's the finger raise. He's going for the 12. He needs it to take this third individual of the second semi-final. Oh, that is very close indeed. Have the fat arrows saved the day for Rio Wilde, Chris?
I believe they have. It's a little right, but I think it's good enough. I think he's clipped the right edge of that white spot. Real Ochnich was a better 12, but with the score standing at what it was, I think Rio's done enough to take this third match.
Here's how the results look after the individual matches in the second semi-final. Following the draw between Chris Schaff and Sawyer Sullivan, as well as wins for Cole Zoig and Rio Wilde, Team Easton and Hotshots both have 2 starting bonus points going into the team match. In the team match, Hotshots were not being intimidated by the experience of their rivals and finished end 1 ahead. Team Easton's Rio Wilde slipped into the 9 in end 2, presenting his young opponents with a big opportunity.
He's thinking about it, I think. I think he's thinking about the 12. He hasn't called it, though. Nailed it. Right in the middle. A perfect score for the Hotshots. And they have opened up a 2-point lead after 2 ends. We're halfway through semi-final number 2. This for a place in the final against Arc System. Well, let's go straight to end number 3. Into the 10 ring. So we move back to Minnesota. And Chris, the key thing here is that Team Easton are either waiting for a mistake from the Hotshots, so they don't have to go for the 12, but ultimately, if the Hotshots carry on, well, there is a minor mistake, dropping a single point. But ultimately, Team Easton will have to be proactive about calling that 12, won't they?
They won't have to be, you know. If the Hotshots do make a mistake in this end, they might get away with it with this solid approach, especially if Linda Ochoa keeps drilling that bottom right spot that she's been assigned by the group.
Yeah, so they've gained 1 point back, Team Easton. That's a 10 for Brielle Ochnich. She's found her form, 2 10s in a row for her. So we go back to Rio Wilde. Just gives us a little casual glance at the camera, then looks back to his team. It's almost like, is he thinking about the 12? Nice. He wasn't thinking about it. He's hit the 12, the 10, and a nice call from Chris Schaff there, I believe. So we now go back to Minnesota. Sawyer Sullivan, no call, so going for regulation 10 again. He's hit 2 of them in the match so far. And just gone high and left, and that looks like a 9 to me. So 2 9s and a 10 for the Hotshots, and 3 10s for Team Easton. 89 points each. It's time for end number 4.
Thank you.
Yep.
Nice.
Schaff calling it before we saw the target. It's a 10, so the pressure is now on.
Strong shot. There you go.
Well, Chris called it a solid approach. Is that what's going to see them through this? It's now a single point lead for Team Easton. Well, another one in the 9s, and look at that, 2 point deficit. Rio Wilde not calling for the 12. It knows that hitting the 10 means the Hotshots will need a 12 to draw level. Now, is that enough, Chris? Has that clipped the 10 or not?
I think that's too low. I think that's going to be called a 9 for 118 total as we cut over to the other range of the Hotshots.
They still need the 12. 10 is not enough for them. 117 will still see them lose by a point. So you've got to think they're going to go for it here. The hand goes up. The maths has been done. The Hotshots are going for the 12. This is it.
This is it.
Oh, it's just too low. It must be less than a centimetre away from the 12 ring. They had to go for it. They did go for it, but they didn't hit it. And the solid approach from Team Easton has seen them win the second semi-final.
We've done this a few times, so it's kind of like our thoughts were if we can just stay solid. And, you know, I mean, that 12 ring can lead to some open doors as much as it can mean to close doors. So it just kind of is, do you really want to flirt with it or not? That was kind of our thinking.